Hello, everyone. My name is Wais Asmal. Welcome to another episode of Two Ways to Skin a Cat, a show where we talk career experiences, entrepreneurship, and investments. The main aim is to show that there's more than one way to be successful other than just climbing the corporate ladder. We are live on LinkedIn and YouTube, and the show will be available on podcast by tomorrow. For those listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, please leave a rating for the podcast. Now, if you're watching us live, drop a one in the comments so that we know we're not talking to ourselves, and drop a two in the comments if you're watching the recording. My guest for this week is Ndzavi Derrick, the Managing Director of the Institute of Business Advisors. He also has extensive experience as a business advisor. Ndzavi, thanks so much for joining me today.
Thank you very much, always, and really great to give me this opportunity to appear on your show. I think when I got a call from you to say, please come, I sometimes I would think twice, but looking at your profile to check to say, you know what, you're in the relevant space, and that's where we fit well. So that's why I said I'll come, but also to your audience, because I believe that there are the kind of people that would need content that would be more relevant to their space. And thank you once again.
Let's jump straight in. Tell us your story. Where do you come from? And even outside of work, who is Ndzavi Derrick? Give us that backstory.
Well, yeah, I'm a gentleman that come from Limpopo. I'm from Guyana. Grew up there, and then came to Johannesburg and looking for opportunities like everybody else, because this is a place of gold. And then, yeah, by God's grace, I think I managed to get, linked to companies that I worked with and worked within the space of corporate, until I think the year 2000, where I exited the corporate space and started my own consulting firm, which was more on business advisory, which has been running for now 24 years. But now I had to grab the opportunity when Institute of Business Advisors was looking for MD to say, let me just work. And it was meant for 6 months. And here I am 3 years down the line with the organization. But yeah, having worked in the space, I've worked with different government agencies, but mainly I've been working with individuals who would like to grow their businesses in the ESG space. And I believe much in that platform. So married with one daughter to one wife, and that's where I am. That's my story. But yeah, the passion is there for enterprise development more than anything else, and I'm looking forward to also growing in this space and growing forward and moving forward and impacting small businesses, but also big businesses, because it's not about small business. A small business that I've been in touch in 10 years ago, now it's a big business. So we can't remain small forever.
And on the weekends, outside of work?
On the weekend, I cook. I love cooking a lot, actually. I cook a lot. I prepare meals for the family. Then I'll buy fish, or I'll buy just, your ribs or anything that I can cook for the family, because I believe that that is what, would keep me going. But other than that, you'd find that in most cases, I've got events that I've been invited to speak at. And yeah, and I find myself, being in those events more often. So any opportunity that I find to spend time with the family, I make use of that. Because in as much as we may be busy and all that, but we need to understand that family come first, and we have to prioritize our loved ones, because we may not be together forever, and we just want to create the good memories, because as entrepreneurs, most of the time we get so consumed in our work such that the family is just inconvenience, but it should not be. As a family man or as a family woman, we have to prioritize our families. We have to prioritize, who we spend time with. So weekends, most of the time, they are my for that. And then come Sunday, I go to church. So yeah, that's basically what I look. But I would love to learn fly fishing, because I love fish. So I want to catch my own fish so that I can be able to say, you know what, this is my fish, and this is the fish that I want to kind of yeah.
I don't have the patience for fishing, but I'm glad somebody does.
You have to because that is one thing that becomes easier, and yeah, becomes lovely actually. So yeah, I would love to do that, because my dad worked in a water board, where they would go fishing, during the weekend, and then I would go with him, but I could not do fly fishing. So that's the desire that I have.
Okay, okay. Moving over to a little bit about you professionally. When I reached out to you the first time, I saw these three letters after your name, CBA. What is CB? It's not something I've seen before, so I want to what is it? Is it a qualification? Tell us what does it stand for? Who does it represent? Who would it be worth getting? Who would be worth getting that qualification or whatever it is? Tell us about it.
I think I'll answer that one now, but I know that maybe the next question would be, what is this entrepreneurologist that is there? Also, so yeah, but on the CBA just stands for Certified Business Advisor, as IBASA. So what we do at IBASA, we certify business advisors, we grade them. It's like your CA, a chartered accountant. So in this case, if you're a CBA, it means that you're certified business advisor. But also, if you are we have three categories. We have a PBA, the principal business advisors. We have a BA as an entry level. Then we have the CBA, which is more like the higher level for business advisory. So as an organization, we believe much in certifying business advisors, in making sure that if you're a business advisor in the industry, you're certified. We are recognized by SAQA as an organization. So that is where the CBA come from. So it's more of an identity of the profession and the practice that you are in as a business advisor.
And who do you recommend should aim for this qualification? Is it graduates, people who studied a specific subject or specific degree at university? Who's the CBA for?
Well, the CBA mainly it's for practitioners that have been in the industry for quite some times now. That says I've been practicing as a business advisor, and over the period of years, so now I need to be recognized so that when I practice, I need to be held accountable. So mostly you'll find that the institute like IBASA, we are able to kind of have our members be held accountable. So if you're practicing already, then you're there. But for you to qualify to be under the CBA, you need to have practiced for a number of years, maybe over 10 years or so. But also you need to show that you are also you have an experience as a business advisor, but also your qualifications becomes more like the standards into it. But if you don't have those qualifications, we look at the RPLs, and say, because based on that, then recognition of the prior learning comes into effect. And then, you get graded based on that. And then from there, we are able to say, now you can practice, and then you have to renew your membership annually. But we have to check your CPD points. We have to make sure that you are compliant in terms of making sure that your membership stays relevant.
Okay. And moving on from the qualification to the institute. So you mentioned the Institute of Business Advisors, or IBASA. Who do they focus on? Are they more focused on small businesses, or are they more on medium-sized business, or your large corporates?
Look, I believe that when it comes to business advisory, it's more on. It's like a doctor. A doctor would deal with any situation or any diagnosis or any sickness that you may encounter. But in business advisory, our advisors, like the CBA, we know that you have that skill that you can even advise the board. So it doesn't have to be giving advice to one-on-one, but also you have to understand that in as much as in your medical space where you have a pediatrician for the kids, and then you have neurologists, you have all these categories. The same applies to our business advisors. They kind of have different discipline when it comes to their experiences. However, you'll find that there are those who are all-rounder who can deal with any cases, whether it's a big business or it's a small business. And in that instance, you'll find that most of them, they also sit in the board, because that also it's where you also exercise your advisory experience at the larger scale. So when you sit in the board and where you advise the board, on which direction to take or strategic matters.
Okay. Talk to us a little bit about the current landscape for small businesses in South Africa. Is now a good time to be starting a small business, or is now a good time to be scaling a small business, or should people be waiting? What's your opinion?
You know, what I've observed is that when it comes to South Africa, I believe strongly that there is no time that we can say it's not a time to get started. Um, the only difference is that when you look at the way that the business is structured currently, I took a drive today. I drove to Germiston area. When I looked at the area, I saw how many firms are there, and I realized that actually most of those companies are small businesses that are existing. But what you would realize is that a lot of those small businesses, they're small businesses, but their founders, you'd find that they were founded in the 80s, and that's why they have continuity and sustainability. So I believe that any small business has a potential to grow if the entrepreneurs themselves have a willing to persevere, have a willing to kind of stand strong, have a willing to say, you know what, I want to be determined to make sure that this business work. But here is the thing, uh, or the problem is that most of the entrepreneurs that starts today, hence the stats would tell you that most of the 70% of the business fall within 3 years or so. You'd find that a lot of entrepreneurs, they go in without having prepared themselves psychologically to understand that for this business to work, it's not a one overnight success that you're looking for. You are looking at 5 year period and all that. And if a lot of entrepreneurs can have that understanding before they quit their jobs, before they leave their employment, they would have planned ahead to say, can I have a salary buffer for maybe 2 years or so to make sure that when the business struggle or when things don't go right, because if you look at the landscape of entrepreneurship today, you'd find that it's a back and forth, where today you are now practicing on your own, but a year later you get employed, and then you have to come back again when you're retrenched. So there is no that kind of consistency. So entrepreneurs, if they can understand that it's about perseverance, it's about understanding that no one may come with the funds for you to say, this is money, go and start it. You have to find a way to say, how do I self fund? But also, how do I create the market for my products? And then, how do I take the product to the market? And understanding the longevity, understanding the lifespan, understanding how long will it take you to launch your business, to get your business off the ground, to get your business being profitable. You need to understand that if you have that picture in mind, it's going to be easier for you to persevere when the challenges come. It's going to be easier for you to say, you know what, we cannot talk about regulations in South Africa. How many countries, they don't have strong regulations like South Africa, yet their entrepreneurs are flourishing. They are bringing up billionaires and all that. But it's all about a determination from entrepreneurs to say, how determined am I? But also one thing, also, which I've picked up is that a lot of entrepreneurs, we are not well informed. You cannot run a successful business if you don't know. Like today, very few entrepreneurs may know what is the current, I would say, what's the current consumer inflation, index today. Is it now still at 5.1 or is it now at 4.6? You don't have to wait for the media to tell you that. You have to Google, you have to search, you have to be on your case, because you need to understand that those things, they have a meaning on how consumers are going to spend. So these are the things that as entrepreneurs, we need to keep on learning, especially on social media platforms. Let us use it for learning, and let us use it to make sure that we are up to date with our own understanding of how business should be run.
It's interesting that you say that also, because you make a very good point. I remember when I was still working for an advisory firm, an accounting advisory firm in around 2017, 2018, and the news out was that GDP wasn't doing well, South Africa's not doing great. But then I look at all these small clients and they're all doing well in their industries and their revenues growing. So if you can find a market, you can find a market in whatever time, whatever time is happening at this. So there's no reason to wait until everything is booming before you decide to start.
That's true, because if you look at what we call informal business, because I normally tell people that, if you have people, you have children, you don't have formal and informal child. So this business that we classify as informal, These are the booming businesses. You go to their street where they're selling these guys. You check the cars that they are using. You check the vehicles that they are using. You check the manpower. You can tell that these guys are making money and they are quiet. They are not even making noise. And here we are. We want to kind of create the formality and all that. It's fair and good, but at the end of the day, we have to say, how do we build that? But I believe that maybe this kidnapping, I'm not saying it's a good thing, but it will allow a lot of entrepreneurs to focus on building their businesses than spending on personal things and show off, because that's where it creates this gap again, to say, how do we deal with that? But if you look at a lot of guys that are selling on the street, you'd find that they are just ordinary guys, and he just walks in as if he's just going to help you as a worker, only to hear that when you want to negotiate discount, they refer you to this same person. So I think these are the things that we have to learn and say, how do we instill the same discipline to these so-called formal businesses that we are having all over the place, and then allow them to flourish so that we can create jobs also.
Very true. For the audience, we'll be responding to questions towards the end, so please add your questions to the comment section now so that we don't miss them. Ndzavi, you've advised many businesses over the years. What mistakes do you see small businesses constantly making? The same mistakes, the low-hanging fruits that somebody can fix. What is the obvious things that people keep doing?
You see, the biggest mistake for a lot of entrepreneurs, and that's where there's lack of growth in their businesses, is that they do not understand that the revenue that comes to the business is not theirs. They don't understand that. A lot of them think that whatever money that comes to my account, it's my money. I can use it. I can spend it. I can just decide what to do with it instinctively and with the hope that I'll get more money tomorrow. So there is not that element of saying, how do I budget? How do I allocate the money that comes? If 1 rand comes, how do I split my money in percentage? I need to know that if I said 10% goes towards salary, it means that if I get 100 rand today, I need to know that 10 cents goes towards salaries. What a lot of entrepreneurs believe is that I can spend the way I want. Come month end, I'm going to get a deal or a sale of 30,000. Out of that sale, I'm going to pay the salaries. That could be too late. So you need to make sure that for every rent and cents that comes on daily basis, you have an allocation towards what it is meant for. You have to make sure that you allocate towards buying the stock, you allocate towards your savings, you allocate towards your salaries. So those allocations should happen on day-to-day basis. Don't wait for month end to do that. And that is where you find that a lot of entrepreneurs come month end or come the time to buy the stock, they have to borrow money to buy the stock when actually they had that money. And being an accountant, you will agree with me that when you check the book of a small business owner, you realize that this person has been making 1.5 million, but you ask yourself, what is this money? You can't track it, because some of them they just spend even without records. Some of them they even get income without records. If truth be told, you'd find that a lot of sales that came through have not been documented, because they know, some of these small businesses, that if I document this, I'll have to account to my accountant. So what they would do is they would just create some spending, or they would just create some kind of, even have a personal account, but that you may not even know. So I believe that accountants actually should be given powers to have access to small business accounts, so that you give a fair value, because in most cases, you'd find that a lot of accountants are blamed to say, why didn't you know about this? But you'd find that because as an entrepreneur, if I'm hiding information from you, how would you know about it? There's no way that you can know. You work on the record that I present to you. But in reality, so for me, the weakness of most of the small business is failing to account properly and failing to spend the right way, failing to make sure that they stick to the budget. And because you ask yourself, why do you borrow money when your books are showing that, when even your bank shows that so much came in and out? The bank won't listen to you if you say you want to borrow money, but you can't show level of discipline. So if entrepreneurs can apply discipline and be disciplined enough, then they can be successful. But that discipline is lacking when it comes to how they spend and how they manage their finances.
Okay, okay. Let's move over, switch to side hustles. What is your experience of people who start them? Are they generally successful or are they generally not? Or is there a range?
Look, for me, side hustles, there is a huge potential to grow if you want to start a side hustle while you're still employed, if that's what you're referring to, where you find that you're still working, but you just want to start something that you can do on the side. What I normally tell people is that for the side hustle to succeed, it must be intentional. It's not a pleasure, it's not a leisure, it's not entertainment, it's not to go by, it's not just to keep you busy. Meaning that if you have time, you must know that after work, you must put aside 2 hours towards your side hustle management. And if you can do that, the potential of growth in your side hustles are very high. But if you can't put time to it, all that you do is you even steal time from the employer to do your business. Sometimes you run away, you have to go and deliver something, the employer is waiting for you. Just tell yourself, I'm putting time for my side hustle. And also, you tell yourself, I'm putting a day where I need to focus on administration, where I need to focus on all these things. Because every business, for it to succeed, it all boils down to systems and processes and keeping the records. If you can do those three things, it will be easier for you to track if your business is doing well or it's not doing well. But if you can't say you need help when you don't even know how far have you gone in your business.
Good advice there. Um, this is one question I like to ask all my guests. What is uh, what is one piece of advice you would give your younger self?
If as a younger self I had a discipline of saving, I'm looking back and say today I think I should be sitting with 3 million in my account.
Yeah.
And not only saving, but if I listen to the brokers or the agents that would come to me and say, please take this insurance, take this cover, take this, take that, endowment policy and all that. If I had that and now at the age of 50, I would have cashed into millions and millions, and not for me, but also to have money to say, can I go into property? Can I buy properties? But also, can I invest? So I would say that to younger me, but also to my age group of the younger me who are in their 20s, if you can, forget about this thing of saying, no, if you save money, insurance will go this. I mean, Old Mutual or any other Sanlam or whatever, they've been here for years. So there's no way that you can say that if you don't trust them, do it with your bank. But you need to understand that for over a period of 40 years or 30 years, your money does not grow from the money you put in the bank, but it grows from the compound interest that it accumulates. So you cannot compare and say, if I were to save it myself, I would be, no, it doesn't work that way. So you have to just get a financial advisor, look at it now. And for me, I believe that even if you started a business at the age of 20, you can still save from your business. There's not this thing that, no, there's no money to save. No. If from the rent you decide that you want to save 5% of that, which is 5 cents, it means that from 10,000, you can save 500 rand. So nothing can stop you.
That's good advice. And I've also been a little bit late to the savings game, but we're getting there. We're getting there. Any last few words from you, or anything we didn't discuss that you want the audience to know?
Look, for me, as a parting shot, is that for every business to succeed, you need to have friends, right? You need to have Tooways as your CA or as your accountant. as your friend. You need to have me as your business advisor as a friend. You need to have a lawyer as a friend. You need to have all these different people that as a friend. Here is the thing. When I don't know you, we don't know each other. You come to me and say, I need you to be my business advisor. I'm going to invoice you. But the more I get to know you, we develop friendship. We become friends. You'd find that some of the services you'll get for free going forward. So never distance yourself from professionals, because these are the people that can help you. Never distance yourself from legal. Never distance yourself from people that can help grow your business. In so doing, you end up having a board of directors that may not be formal. They can be informal, because you know that anytime you need help, you can consult them. Anytime that you need advice, you can consult them. You can run your business alone, but you must know that in as much as you may not afford the staff, there are a team of professionals that you can still consult, that you can still seek advice from. So it is very important that in every business that you do, seek advice. If you do it yourself, Google. That will help you. But if Google is not enough, talk to somebody. We are here to help. Don't go through depression. Don't close the business without seeking advice first. Don't just take irrational decisions without first seeking advice. You need to seek advice in everything. Financially, they are financial advisors. Accounting, they are accountants. Business, they are business advisors. Legal, they are lawyers that can advise you. In any spheres, make sure that you have the dial number, the speed dial for those people to assist you.
Never hide from professionals. I like that. That's a great way to end. The show has been live on YouTube and should be available on podcast by tomorrow. If you're watching on YouTube or listening on the podcast and you feel that it's added value, don't forget to like, subscribe, and click on that notification bell to get automatically notified when the next episode comes out. Ndzavi, thank you so much for your time.
I can't believe we're done. But thank you very much. I hope I'll come back again.
Thanks, everyone, for joining us for another episode of Two Ways to Skin a Cat. Goodbye.